it seems like just a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the possibility of a Spider Man 4 movie being on Sony's release schedule in 2026. Now, we know this, even though we see Tom Holland's Spider Man all throughout the MCU, that is really a Sony property. And this week, we have confirmation. There is a Spider Man 4 movie in the works coming out, and it has a release date. So, if there was a role that made Tom Holland a household name, this Spider-Man franchise really did it for him, and he is returning. One of the other things that we had heard was that Destin Daniel Cretton was going to be directing, and that turned out to be right too. So this is the director behind the amazing Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and he is taking the reins, possibly because he was slated to direct the Kang Dynasty. And then, the stuff that happened with Jonathan Majors and Marvel went a different direction with their multiverse saga, bringing in Robert Downey Jr. and showing Jonathan Majors the door. So maybe because he was already slated to do this multiversal type movie, he has returned to helm this Spider-Man movie because just like we heard, it could potentially be a multiverse movie, which I wasn't looking forward to, but okay, it's a multiverse movie, okay. And remember, I was going to talk about last week that Tom Holland was saying that he had seen an early script, an early draft of the script for Spider-Man 4, which let us know it was on the horizon, but now we've got this date, right? Okay, so he and his girlfriend, longtime girlfriend, Zendaya, were going over the script together, which makes me think that Zendaya will be back. Now, I think that there are still negotiations between her team and Marvel or her team and Sony, but why would they allow her to read that script if she wasn't going to be in the movie? So fingers crossed that they find a way to put her in the movie that makes sense with the way that Spider-Man No Way Home ended in the last movie. In that movie, everybody had forgotten who Peter Parker was, including his closest friends, Ned and MJ. So they no longer have any knowledge of Peter Parker. So it's kind of hard to figure out how she would fit into his life as he's navigating, trying to fit into a world that has forgotten him. Okay, now here's where things get really interesting. Tom Holland is also in talks to join Christopher Nolan's next film. So this next film is still untitled, and it's set for release on July 17th, 2026. Sounds like it's going to be a big, big epic, just like all of Christopher Nolan's films. Nolan is known for these mind-bending type movies, so this could really be an exciting opportunity for Holland as far as moving past Spider-Man. But this also could mean some scheduling conflicts for Tom Holland. Spider-Man 4 is scheduled, like I said, for July 24th, 2026. There's also the possibility of him at least appearing in Avengers Doomsday, which is coming out May 1st, 2026. So how we filming? How we filming 3 movies that are all coming out in a similar window of time, with the Nolan film coming out 1 week before Spider-Man 4. And there's no changing of the dates for Spider-Man. Spider-Man has to be locked into this date due to the legalities of Sony's ownership of the character. There's only so much time that can go by without them either putting a movie in production or releasing a film before they lose the rights to the character. And y'all know they're not trying to lose the rights to this character. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything shakes out, how he's able to be in 2 blockbusters 1 week apart, plus the Avengers Doomsday movie, which will likely be setting up Spider-Man 4. It is a very, very complicated, complex task, but if he's able to pull this off, remember how we used to consider 4th of July weekend every year for many years was what people called Big Willie weekend, because we knew that no matter what, a Will Smith film was going to be coming out on 4th of July weekend. Well, are we going to get us, or I don't know what we could call it. Do you want to call it Big Tommy Weekend? Will Tom Holland be that actor, the it actor, that actor who is in a film and it brings people into the movies in that July window with the summer blockbusters? You know, the first summer blockbuster, of course, is going to be Avengers Doomsday. I'm almost 100% sure. But when we're talking July blockbusters, is Tom Holland's name going to start becoming synonymous with that? I guess time will tell. Let's celebrate, though. We're getting the new Spider-Man movie. We're going to see more of Tom Holland in other types of films. And yeah, I can't wait to see, how his career progresses from here. You guys tell me what you think about the Tom Holland news. The Spider-Man 4 is coming, and that he will be flexing his acting muscles in a Christopher Nolan film as well. And BT Dubs, remember Christopher Nolan used to always work with Warner until they pulled that mess with his movie Tenet back in a pandemic era. They put it straight on HBO Max, and Christopher Nolan was not having it. He was not having it. And he said he would never work with them again. And guess what? He's not working with them. He didn't work with them on Oppenheimer, which won a mess of freaking Academy Awards. And he's not working with them on this one. This one is also going to be on Universal. So those are things that we need to think about. And let's just move on to the next topic. But make sure that you let me know how you're feeling about all of that in the comments.
All aboard the weekly wrap-up Entertainment Express.
Now let's talk about Twisters. So remember the action-packed movie that's the sequel to the 90s classic movie Twister? Well, it's twirling its way on the Peacock on November 15th. So it raked in over $370 million worldwide in theaters. So now you can watch it from the comfort of your own couch. And this ain't your mama's Twister, though. This one is directed by Lee Isaac Chung. That is the man who brought us the Oscar-nominated Minari film. This one's got a fresh perspective. We've got Daisy Edgar Jones playing a storm chaser turned scientist, Glenn Powell as a charismatic, very sexy tornado wrangler, and Anthony Ramos is bringing his unique charm as always. So the story is following these three as they try to survive and understand a crazy outbreak of tornadoes. The cast also includes Brandon Perea, David Corenswet, who is going to be the next Superman in the James Gunn DCU, and Maura Tierney. So this one is definitely one that you might want to watch. November 15th on Peacock. And now we're going to switch gears again to something a little spooky. Now, it's not coming out anytime soon, but Amazon's MGM Studios is bringing us a brand new Carrie series. I don't know who asked for this. Well, but guess who's at the helm? None other than horror movie master Mike Flanagan. He is the genius behind The Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass. So they're calling this new Carrie film a bold and timely reimagining of Stephen King's classic tale. You know the story. Carrie White, the shy girl with telekinetic powers, she got a domineering mama and a whole lot of high school drama. That's the Carrie story in one sentence. Flanagan also has a knack for bringing Stephen King's works to life. So I have high hopes that it could be something good. But I just don't know who wanted this. Anywho, we're going to keep an eye on this project for more news about this series as it becomes available. So all of those are things that are coming out further down the horizon. Let's get a little more specific. Let's talk about what's coming really, really soon to a streaming service near you. Remember Wizards of Waverly Place? Selena Gomez, Magic Wands, that catchy theme song. Well, get this. Disney is bringing it back. We are getting Wizards Beyond Waverly Place, and it is coming to Disney Plus on October 29th. And I've got more details for you. Selena Gomez will reprise her role for probably just one episode as Alex Russo, so she's not the star this time. David Henry is stepping up as Justin Russo, and he's got a whole family now. Justin's all grown up with a wife and kids, and he is mentoring a new young wizard. So I'm already picturing what this chaos is going to look like. And guess who's directing some episodes, y'all? Raven Simone and Danielle Fishel. Talk about a Disney Channel reunion. I am so here for this. So mark your calendars for October 29th because you know we're going to be tuning in, or at least I'm going to try to get the kids to tune in because this is what I call a magical throwback. And for those of you who really enjoy Citadel, listen up. The Russo brothers are back with a new spinoff, Citadel Honey Bunny, and it is hitting Amazon Prime on November 7th. This isn't your typical sequel. In fact, it's not a sequel at all. It's actually a prequel, taking us back in time before the events of the original series. So we're going to meet Honey and Bunny, and they, of course, are the parents of Nadia. We're going to see how they got caught up in the whole spy game. So we're going to think action, espionage, and a whole lot of twists and turns. It actually makes me want to go back and revisit this series. So I'm curious to see how they're going to tie all this together with this Citadel cinematic universe. And I like a good origin story, but I probably should watch original Citadel before I jump into Honey Bunny. So tell me what you think. Are you going to be watching Honey Bunny on November 7th? So let's go ahead and put a bow on it because that's a wrap for this week's wrap up. Thank you for joining me this week for another look at the week in entertainment. I have a little bit of bad news. Bad news is there'll be no weekly wrap up for this coming Monday because, you know, we're getting mentally prepared here for an election, a really big one. And for those of you guys who don't know, I get really anxious. I get severe anxiety. Like right now, you see I had to turn the lights down even in my room because I've got a migraine. The whole election, everything about this year's election is literally making me sick. So I think no matter which way this thing goes, somebody is going to be disappointed. And I just need to prepare myself for that someone to be me. By the way, if you're also in the States, I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I am telling you to vote. Go out and exercise your civic right to select our next leader for the country. And yeah, so you don't have any FOMO, no fear of missing out. Your voice needs to be heard. Whether we sit on the same side of the aisle or on different sides of the aisle, I ain't gonna judge you right here. As long as you don't say nothing crazy to me, I'm not gonna judge you. But yeah, get out there and vote. And yeah, and then meet me back here at the intersection of common sense and pop culture, where we will talk the next week's entertainment news, because you deserve far more than just some tea.